So Bitcoin sold off this weekend and a lot of people are panicking. And today I'm going to show you what happened once again. This is something we have seen before and it was something I mentioned before. So I'm going to explain this sell-off. Stay tuned. So welcome to today's daily Bitcoin and cryptocurrency news. I am George. A lot of people are tuned in today because they are panicking. They don't know what to do and you're probably one of them. So today's show is all about talking about Bitcoin and what has happened this weekend and show you guys that this has happened before. So not time to panic. Not time to panic. This is actually a really good buying opportunity. So thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, appreciate your support. The regulars, appreciate it. Give me that thumbs up. And for those of you guys that are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe because if you don't, Bitcoin will go down even more. All right, so let's take a look at the chart right now. And this is not BTC's price chart. This is actually BTC's short chart on Bitfinex, which does really weird things with their short contracts. And last week I mentioned about how BTC, this was before we went above 12,000. I said 12,800. That's probably a point we could come down from because we have gone up so much. But what worried me before, and I mentioned this a couple times, is the fact that the shorts keep going up, and it mimicked what we saw about a month ago where it kept going up and it didn't come down. The higher the price went, the more the shorts tackled on, but you would figure there would be some dips due to some selling or covering or some short squeezes, but no. Take a look at this. It really mimicked this, and there was none. There was no big dips. Even last time we had some dips because of short squeezes. But this time around, there was none, and I was fearful, and I said, this might be something we have to worry about because it looks like maybe one whale or a couple whales are trying to set up the same thing, and that is exactly what happened. So take a look at this. This is the shorts on Bitfinex being covered in one single swoop. And according to this article, it was by one person, well, actually claimed by whales. I don't know if it's one person or not, but it could be a couple. But basically $200 million worth of shorts were claimed. And this confuses a lot of people, and it still confuses me to this day. Well, because with shorts, if you cover a short, that's actually a good thing, okay? That means that the borrow money that these shorters have contracts with, right, you have to be paid back. And that's why usually when shorts are covered or short squeezes happens, it causes the price to go up. But with Bitfinex, that's not the case because of how they do their shorts, and they don't call it covering, they call it claim. And this is exactly what happened before. Last time, I'm going to show you what happened. Last time this very same thing happened, the market was pushed down by over 2,000 points. And this time around, the same thing. All right, so this article kind of explains it a little bit because I still don't understand. Those of you guys that use Bitfinex, I certainly don't. If you know their short contract, it's just weird. It's just weird. Okay, so to claim, I shouldn't say weird. It's just downright bad. The claim feature, as described by Finex, allows the use of funds that you have in your margin wallet to settle a leverage position as an exchange buy or sell. Claiming some or all of your positions require you to have enough partially realized P&L in your margin wallet to satisfy some or all of the outstanding financial associated with your positions. So what does this mean, honestly? It's like you could claim some or all. You don't need to have all the money. You just need to have partial P&L. And and it says to satisfy some and all. And I know I read Bitfinex Q&A before. They said that a lot of this doesn't really even hit the order books, which means that, I mean, it shouldn't have a price effect on the price. But when this happens, who knows? Maybe the whales took that money out and actually did something else with it, actually dumped Bitcoin at the same time. And it could have caused a long squeeze too, because then the longs get liquidated. There's a lot of stuff they could do, but I do know that Bitfinex shorts doesn't work like any other shorts. They're the only ones to do this. Not even BitMEX shorts work like this. No other OKX. All these other exchanges that have shorts and just traditionally shorts in the stock market does not work like this. But Bitfinex allows it, and this is what the whale or a couple whales did exactly. And they did it, caused FUD, caused fear, right? And then people started panicking, and that's what we saw this morning. So let's take a look at where BTC is now. BTC has held above 10,000. It's rallied a little bit from 10,000, almost below 10,000, 10,300. So we are coming up. But I mentioned at the beginning of the show, this has happened before, okay? And strangely enough, within the same scenario, basically, okay? So this is something that we have seen, like I said, with the shorts. So take a look at this period, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit, all right? So actually, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Before we had a lot of stagnant movement, okay? And take a look. This is just the 4,000s. Remember when we hit 4,000s, we were all so pleased, right? It didn't really do anything for months until someone decided to jumpstart the market with this buy. Then we kind of went sideways again for another month, and then boom, this started happening, right? So we went from about 5,000, low 5,100, and if you go even lower, right around, let's just say 4,974, so round it up to 5,000. We went from 5,000 all the way up to a peak of 8,400. You guys remember that? Because it was just out of nowhere. We started pumping up like crazy, and then that whale decided to do the same thing with Bitfinex. So we went from 8,400 down to 6,600. So approximately from 5,000 all the way up to 8,400, we went up about 68%. Let's just round it up, 70%, which is pretty darn good. And then we dropped about 21%. All right. Then after that fact, we hovered pretty much for a month. Okay, we did go up a little bit, but then we came down. So you see, basically for the whole entire month, we stayed stagnant between that 7,600 to 8,000 range for about a month, and then boom, this happened. So this time around, we went from, let's say over here, about 7,500 up to 13,800. Okay, so roughly about 80% this time. So last time we went up about 70%. This time we went up 80%, and the whale decided to do the same thing because this is the right opportunity to do so while everyone is thinking it's going to go to the moon. They're like, hey, I still have $200 million. I can short this market and make some money, and that's exactly what they did. So this time around, we went down about 27%. So pretty close, a little bit more than last time, but that's because we went up a little bit more than last time. So this is exactly the same scenario that played out now a month or two after the fact. And this was something I was worried about. I was just wondering when it was going to come because I saw the shorts. I'm like, it's going up and up and up and up, and it's not coming down, even though we have seen Bitcoin go up 80% within a very short time frame. So this is something that I was worried about, and it did come. But what does that mean? Does that mean the rally is over? Does that mean this is a sucker's rally and all of us that are bullish, we're done for? No. No, it does not mean that. To put things in perspective, on Father's Day 2 weeks ago, I was on vacation, and I happened to scroll through my Twitter. And now those of you guys that are following me on Twitter will have seen this. If you haven't, make sure you do follow me. But I tweeted this out. I'm like, hey, this is how I'm spending my Father's Day. And you know what? This was June 16th, so roughly 2 weeks ago. Take a look where we were. Bitcoin was at 9,100, okay? And at that point, we were just rallying up. So we were actually rallying up from the 8,000s to the 9,000. So I'm showing you guys this to put things in perspective, okay? Because I'm noticing in the comments, a live chat on Twitter, people are like, oh, it's done for once again. To put things in perspective, I just showed you guys how fast we went up, 80% gain in basically 1 month's time, okay? 1 month's time. Even where we are now is still more than 50% than where we gained a month ago. And even 2 weeks ago, we're still above that. We weren't even above 10,000 2 weeks ago, okay? So again, to put things in perspective, this is not the time to be panicking. This is not the time to be thinking, oh, Bitcoin is done for. This is a sucker's rally, because people thought the very same thing when this happened. When we went down, we kind of just went sideways. People were like, it was getting iffy. People were getting restless. Like, hey, Bitcoin is not moving anymore. Why? Are we done? Are we going to see that doomsday 40% drop people talked about? No, it didn't come. And instead, we went up 80%. Okay, so do not be do not be panicking. This will happen when you have volatility like this. Volatility works both ways. It doesn't just FOMO up. It does come down sometimes. So if you're in it for life-changing wealth, or I should say wife-changing wealth, depends on what you're looking for, this is to be expected. And those of you guys that kept saying it was too high, it was too expensive, here is a gift for you. This is a gift to be able to buy Bitcoin once again around $10,000 before we start moving back up to the 13s, to 15, and then 20,000. So you got to think of this as a gift. So again, we have seen this before. The whales are going to do whalish things. They still have control, but that's going to go away. That's going to go away as the market goes up higher and higher. The market cap goes up. It takes a lot more liquidity to do this. And one of the benefits that we're seeing today is a lot of the alts are holding strong. So BTC dominance actually went down from 63% down to 61%. So something like XRP and also EOS and Binance, a lot of these are down less than Bitcoin. So your BTC ratio actually is going up, even though your USD value is going down for those of you guys that are altcoin holders. So this is actually a benefit. If you check the BTC value of your portfolio, if you're holding a lot of alts, there's a good chance that it actually went up even though the USD value went down. But this, in my opinion, still win, because what I'm trying to do is to try to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible going forward. And I think that's more important than make a buck and actually see BTC ratio go down. All right, so that's in my opinion. So a lot of you guys are holding a lot of alts. That's one benefit that you probably saw today. All right, now, why do I think, I'm going to recap real quick, why do I think Bitcoin is going to go up? Why is this rally not over? Because time and time again, Bitcoin has shown that it has recovered every single time. Every time it goes up, it's much higher than before. And plus, the fundamentals are getting much better. In 2017, we didn't see much fundamentals. We kind of heard little pieces of it. 2018, we heard more of it. 2019, especially the last half of this year, a lot of it. To recap, Libra is still coming, and it's causing a lot of banks, a lot of other companies. I'll bet you anything that Google and Microsoft and other tech companies, IBM, they, along with other enterprise companies and all the banks in the world, are talking about Libra and what to do. Should we join? Should we do something on our own? This is spurring a lot of conversations and bringing a lot of attention. It will cause a lot of adoption. So this is still coming. And even the country of Russia said, hey, we're not going to ban Libra. It's going to be a crypto that we allow, which is actually very positive, which means that if they're taking this stance on Libra, they're probably going to take the same stance on Bitcoin and every other altcoin that exists. Now, other things is coming. Ledger X, they got approval. Very first company to get approval to offer Bitcoin futures that's settled in Bitcoin, not in cash. Okay, so some of the shady things that we're seeing go on with Bitfinex, hopefully, it kind of eliminates the market for those kind of places. Like right now, you don't really have any official exchanges or platforms that's regulated that is actually being that's allowed, right? So hopefully some of these big whales that enter the market, they'll either swallow up these small whales, cause them to die out, or let's hope some of them move to something like Ledger X. And of course, after Ledger X, Bakkt sets July test date for Bitcoin futures. They didn't just select this date out of nowhere. They probably knew that Ledger was going to get approval. So now Bakkt is set to start testing their Bitcoin futures. And you know, once they get approval, they're going to be launching later this year. Well, and this is going to be gigantic. Now, of course, SEC is also deciding fate of Bitcoin ETFs. Now they are setting public comments to help them decide. So you know SEC wants to do this. It's just they're trying to be careful. Again, this is going to be a big thing once it hits the open market, hits the brokerages, and you're going to see a lot of money flow into Bitcoin. So the fundamentals, this is just a quick snapshot. There is so much more. Fundamentals haven't changed just because Bitcoin went down 2,000 points within a single weekend. It didn't change at all. So don't let this scare you, and actually think of it as a gift. This is a good buying opportunity. All right, lastly, I wanted to make a video, but I ran out of time this weekend. One altcoin that has exploded within the last week, and they're down today because it has exploded so much, and that's Chainlink. I've talked about Chainlink briefly before. Whenever people asked about it, I always said I like it. So I'm going to explain a little bit more why they have exploded. I also talked about within my insider group a lot, and I think I'm going to write about them more today. And if you guys are interested, check it out. The link is in the description. But what is Chainlink? Why did it go up so massively? Well, they are about oracles. And if you're not familiar with oracles, basically it's a set of tools, APIs that allow blockchain-based companies to accept data from non-blockchain companies. For example, if you're creating some kind of weather dApp, you need information. You need weather information, and you're not going to spend billions of dollars to deploy satellites around the world. How are you going to get that information? Well, you go take it from someone else, right? Maybe from weather.com or from Google or someone. Well, how do you input that data into your dApp? Well, that's where Oracle comes in. Or that's where Chainlink comes in through the use of their Oracle. Basically, it's just a set of tools that allow any blockchain-based companies right now, they're concentrating on Ethereum, allow any Ethereum-based company right now to take data from basically non-blockchain companies that offer that data. That's essentially what they're doing, and this is a necessary step because right now you hear about a lot of companies that are trying to develop everything in-house, which is fine, but there's a big market out there outside the crypto world, outside the decentralized world right now, that's full of data. And if you want to access that data, you either have to program it yourself or you can use something like Chainlink. And they had their mainnet a few months ago, and it was one of those buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. I thought Chainlink was going to do really well. After the mainnet release, it actually dumped. It dumped pretty hard after that. But then, let's go back 3 months. But then things started getting better. So I think this is around the mainnet because they went up quite tremendously. The mainnet came out and dumped, and then you started seeing go up. And the mainnet was around $1.40. And after it dumped, it went down to about 80 something cents. So think about that. That was June 4th, where it was at 87 cents. It went from 87 cents to $3, and actually at one point it hit over $4. And why did it start going up? Well, Google started getting involved. Google said they were going to integrate Chainlink oracles in their analytic data warehouse with DApp support. So basically, anyone utilizing the Google Cloud that's running Ethereum or some kind of Ethereum DApp, it's going to be built in so that you can integrate with Chainlink, and they're going to make it really easy to do so. So basically, that's the first step. This caused a lot of excitement, right? Kind of showed support that Google is paying attention. They're taking ETH and Chainlink seriously. So that pumped up the first thing. Then this is the biggest reason why they pumped up. Oracle themselves, the company Oracle, actually formed. They had a big presentation. They actually formed a real partnership with Chainlink. They're going to actually basically, Chainlink's like an incubator for them. They're going to help startups to actually integrate into Oracle and sell their data to Oracle customers, which is phenomenal. This is a huge partnership announcement. This is huge. Basically, the company Oracle, one of the biggest companies in the world, tech companies in the world, is basically saying we're going to help Chainlink grow, and we're going to help any startups that utilize Chainlink actually to make money. So this caused it to pump again. And then lastly, what caused it to pump is Coinbase, because this was actually out of the blue. I don't think Coinbase announced they were going to add Chainlink, but Coinbase decided to do so because it was hot and because all this attention, and this pumped it a third time. This is why it went from under $1 to $3, actually to $4 before coming down today at $3. So overall, this is not one of those coins that gets hyped up to the moon and it's going to fall to nothing, okay? Not like, I don't know what some of these other ones that were really hot before, like Centivate or whatever, okay? That gets pumped up to the moon and then it just dies, okay? You don't hear about it anymore. This is not one of those. Chainlink has been around for a while. I've always said I like the idea of oracles. I think it's necessary. So after this settles down, I do think Chainlink is here to stay, and I like the project a lot. All right, that is pretty much it. Now we're a little bit higher, 10,400. So Bitcoin is coming up. So let's see what happens later today and this week. It's a fresh new week, so we can see a big recovery this week as well. All right, let's do some Q&A. Big free agent moves for for the NBA. Those of you guys that are in the U.S. But rumors are Kawhi is going to the Lakers, which would be even a more powerful team than Golden State before Durant. That would be crazy. That would be absolutely crazy. All right. A lot of people ask me about energy. I'm neutral on energy. It's one of those that got really hyped up, although I don't know what the hype is. I think the hype was just that it was being pumped. But it's a fork of Dash, and it pretty much works the same way, except they have a larger treasury. That's the only thing that they have for them. And I'm neutral on it. I'm not very excited about it. Will Pundi X pump or disappear? I think over time they might disappear because it's gonna compete with Libra. So that's the big thing. But yeah, I mean, they have their own thing, right? They have their own terminal, which is the big thing. They haven't sold too many of them yet. They have a whole bunch of ecosystem, but one of the things they're trying to do is become a digital currency. And I think any company going long run is going to have a hard time competing with Libra in that. What's the next big thing after Chainlink, VeChain? No, there's a lot. It's an opportunity. I mean, it's the right time, right opportunity. VeChain has seen a pump. Actually, it did go up. I think 20% over the weekend. It did go up quite a bit. Now it's coming down a little bit. But VeChain, I've said, this is one of the big projects that I support. I think it's going to be a top 10 coin in the near future because they keep forming huge partnerships and they're good. But they've been stagnant as of late because altcoins is just it's a tricky thing because it's not altcoin season, which is why most of these altcoins are trailing hard against BTC. And when your BTC ratio goes down, it's not a good thing. And VeChain is one of them. But Chainlink, because they had such good press, it was hard to ignore. So they overcame that non-altcoin season thing. Good to buy Stratus for smart contract sidechain today. I don't know. Stratus is kind of like, they could be a good acquisition target for Microsoft because they're kind of like, now they're becoming, basically they use C#. If you're a C# developer, you could program with Stratus, but they've been kind of stagnant, and I don't see a lot of attention to them. So they added smart contracts kind of like last minute because that's where the market is going. So I don't know if that's really going to help them. Blabry Entertainment, do you think Bitcoin will go straight up to 14K in the next few weeks? Or before that, it will have a wave between 11.5 and 12.5? I think it's going to be a wave. I think what we're seeing is very similar to what we saw basically start of or end of April. And then we saw a huge 70% rise. Then we came down. So that was May 17th. So that's about a month and a half. And then starting from May 17th, we didn't really have any big moves until June 10th. So that's about a month. And you see that we did go up and then down, but pretty much sideways. I have a feeling that we could see something like that, but maybe on a shorter scale because we did go up faster this time, which is why we came down a little bit more. But the time frame has accelerated, which makes me think that maybe within the next 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, we can see some movements similar where we actually do go up and then down, up, or it should be like small like this before we break out into the 15s or so. So yeah, I think we could see some sideways movement. Again, sideways movement wouldn't be so bad, but looking at last time, even though we had a sideways movement, we did break above. So take a look because the previous high was about 8,400 and like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was like 5 tries. We couldn't break it. We broke down and then boom. The next ceiling was about 8,800 and we settled here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times before we went down and went higher. So it could be something that we recover within the next week or so, that we recover back to 13,000. Maybe we even peak into the 14,000s before we come back down a little bit before we get ready for the next leg up. So I do think we're going to see some sideways movement for the next few weeks or so. Yeah, and one thing that's interesting, because of this big short claim on Bitfinex, the number of short contracts is extremely low now, okay? Before, you take a look, every time we fall to a level, and then it would pretty much go back up, and this was probably around 16,000, 17,000 contracts, okay? Give or take a few. But where we are now, it fell down to less than 10,000 contracts, which brought us to the level back in February of 2018. Think about how volatile things were in February 2018. That was when Bitcoin fell down to 6,000s and then climbed back up to 15,000 and then started coming down, up, down. That's where we essentially are. It climbed up a little bit, so now we're like rough around here, but still, the short contracts on Bitfinex, it's extremely, extremely low. and the fact that it's down here, I mean, that could be a positive thing. That could be a very positive thing as well. But next time for sure. I brought this up this time, but I didn't know when it was going to come. Last time this happened, I said I'm going to pay attention. Last week, I saw this happen, and I said, this kind of scares me a little bit, but let's see what happens. Oh, again, this happened. So if shorts climbs up again and we see something similar where it just kind of keeps going up and up and up, there's no real breaks. Like, this is more organic, okay, where you see breaks because there's more short squeezes, people claiming or getting out. See, even here, you know, there's up and downs. Over here, there really wasn't. It just kind of kept going up and up and up. And the fact that it started rounding out made it seem like something was going to happen. So next time around, we'll all be prepared for that. Barn Casino, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. I don't think Litecoin is going to move at all. And Litecoin was holding strong yesterday. Not so much today. It keeps breaking out of this channel. I keep having to adjust, but 118. I mean, we're 1 month away from the halving event. I believe it's August 5th or 6th, so we're about a month away. Okay, once 4th of July comes, about a month away. So it's do or die time, okay? Litecoin, if it's going to take advantage of having an event, it better start moving up in a big way. Otherwise, it's going to come and go, and it's going to be a missed opportunity. So let's see what happens with Litecoin. Within the next few weeks, we could see some big moves, because one of the things I saw by charting this out from May is the fact that every time it rises big, it comes down pretty big too. So you can see this time around it went up and then down 20%. This time up, down about 18-19%. So this time around, from its peak to the bottom, it went down about 25%. So could this mean that it's ready to move up this next leg, right? Maybe it's going to happen before the halving event. So maybe it can go up here, which will be around the 180s or so, maybe as high as 200. It has to start moving. It has to start moving. XRP is actually doing pretty good today. People are using it as a safe haven. I tweeted that out, that XRP is a safe haven today. Even Bitcoin Cash is a safe haven. Basically, any alts that is not losing more than Bitcoin is safe haven. So unfortunately, Litecoin is not one of them. So Litecoin is the only one in the top 10, all the way down to Chainlink. But you remove that because they've gone up so much. If you remove them, man, what's the next one that's worse? Like Omi's Go. So unfortunately, Litecoin is just not having it. But everything else actually is holding relatively well. Especially like something like XRP and Bitcoin Cash today. They're holding really well against Bitcoin, which is why BTC Dominance is going down, and your BTC ratio is probably going up because of it. And that's a win. That's a win, obviously, right? All right. When are you doing Lego videos? I do Lego videos all the time, guys. I do a video all the time. I don't know how many of you guys, you know, I showed you guys I was working on a Ninjago boat, right? I think on Friday, so I finished it for those of you guys that are Lego fans. Ta-da! So, if you guys are into Legos, there you go. I do actually have a Lego channel, but I don't want to share it. Maybe you guys could find it. All right, guys. So, to sum up, this drop that we saw over the weekend, okay? First of all, to put things in perspective, this was from 2 weeks ago. We were only at 9,200, and that was after a big rally from 8,000. So to put things in perspective, the rally is not over. We haven't crashed to a level we haven't seen before. This is perfectly natural, because when something goes up 80%, it's going to bound to come down. When you have a lot of FOMO, you also have a lot of FUD. There's a lot of weak hands that continue to get scared off. Emotions come into it. But you got to think about this. This is one of those times where it's a really good buying opportunity because you want to buy low. You want to buy when other people are fearful. You don't want to buy at peak. Okay, so think about that. Put things in perspective. We are still doing very, very, very good. Of course, we want to see it go forever to the moon, but if it happens, right, you learn from it and you take advantage when you can. And just like last time, about a month ago, we went up about 70%. We fell down about 22%. This time around, we went up 80%, fell down about 27%. It's mimicking exactly, almost identically, and it's caused once again by whales that are taking advantage of Bitfinex their short contract system and how you could claim it and settle off books, and you could do all these complicated things that somehow work in their favor as long as you have $200 million worth of BTC to play with. All right, so thanks for tuning in, guys. Stay strong, take advantage when you can, and BTC is slowly coming back up, right? And we'll see where it ends later today and tomorrow. And so make sure you tune in tomorrow, and we'll discuss. And those of you guys that are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and you don't want to be missing any of those. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Take care and have a good rest of your day. Take care.